Is to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the elders and apostles of Jemma, Shalom, Shalom to the elect. Now, I've done a few videos on this so-called fuel crisis in the UK, and it's leading to a whole bunch of stuff, and it's all scriptural when you really break it down, because there's the devil coming down having great wrath, but he does it in increments. As a brother in Deer and Branch who's non-stop on the block now says, he's very insidious in what he does. Let's look at the word insidious real quick. I've looked at the word before. It's mean doing things incrementally, proceeding in a gradual, subtle way, but with very harmful effects. So this man is very insidious, and what he's done is he's actually because of the lack, quote unquote, of HGV drivers, which was because of Brexit, because they moved away from the European Union. So now people from overseas can't come and do these jobs. So now they need to look on their home turf to find drivers and people who are willing to do the jobs, even to the point where people are talking about I've not personally seen it, but people have said they've seen cleaning jobs for £14. Usually cleaning jobs are about £9, £10. Now it's increased in the same way with HGV or LGV. Salaries have actually increased by 30% since this whole pandemic, and a lot of people are saying they're not going to have enough turkeys for Christmas. And if you really look at it, it shows you that the wisdom in Teman is gone. And I'm going to get that scripture in a minute, but let's just listen to this guy talk about what's going on here.
Sean from EP Training Services Standards Agency have been requested by the government to release driving tests. The government's position is that there are not enough driving tests out there to accommodate the demand for drivers, and as I'm sure you're aware, there is a chronic shortage of drivers at the industry. Just get something out of the way. There's always been a shortage of drivers. There's always been the case. Never been enough drivers. The situation's been obviously since Brexit, COVID, and IR35. The situation's just got chronic. So yeah, there are shelves that are empty, and people are realising that things aren't coming through as quickly as they used to be. So the problem we have, chronic shortage of drivers. Now, for some reason, this is all being put down to in part due to the lack of driving tests. That's not the situation. This is a political stunt. If you look at the headline about all the changes for this, it's really about releasing driving tests. And I think the government have calculated something like 50,000 vocational HGV driving tests have now been freed up. How come so many have been freed up? Well, in pre-1997, before we finally really got into bed with the EU, many people, well, everyone who passed their car test pre that date was given a plethora of other entitlements, whether it be car and trailer, or 7.5 ton, or 7.5 ton with trailer. Anyway, in 1997, 1st of January to be precise, to harmonise ourselves with the rest of the EU, driving licences were formalised and standardised. Now, before 1997, you could do what they're proposing now, which is go straight to your Class 1. In fact, before 1997, you didn't even need a car licence. You could have nothing and go from 0 to Class 1. And we used to call that double L'ing. We used to put 2 L's on the front of the Arctic. So that normally took...
So basically what we were saying is before that you didn't even need your car license to drive a HGV vehicle, which is a lorry. You could just straight get your lorry license. So you could just drive the biggest vehicles on the road without having any formal training and or experience. And he's gonna talk into a bit now. I don't know whether or not I'm gonna play it that far, but basically back then it was different. There wasn't as much traffic. The standard of skill was higher because it was actually harder to drive a car. You had more manual cars on the road. Things weren't. You didn't have power steering the way it is now. All these semi-automatic sequential gearboxes, so on and so forth. It's a lot easier now to drive a car, which is funny because the standards of the standard of car drivers is even lower, in the same way that, now that you're given these mobile phones and all this technology that allows you to do so much more, people have got dumber. So what technology does is, when it makes things easier to do something, people actually become worse at that something. It doesn't increase people's ability to do something. So if you have a phone book that keeps all your numbers, people's memories tend to get worse. If you have cars that basically drive themselves, the requirement and the standard of a skill of driving a car is going to get worse. So people are actually worse drivers now than they ever have been. And what they're doing, or what they're proposing, or what they've already done, is allowing people to jump ahead. Because before all of this, you needed to get a class 1 license, and then from a class 1 sorry, you needed to get a class 2 license, which is classes a rigid. And after you got a rigid, after you get your car license, then you could apply for the articulated, which is classes a C and E, which is a class plus a trailer. Now you can go straight from a license to a class 1, which is basically a C class and a trailer, which is above a rigid. But the standard and I'll just read this comment real quick. This is Andy Burgers. I've been a class 1 driver since I was 18, and that's 12 years now, and I find these new ideas absolutely disgusting. The government is a joke. They really expect car drivers to be safe and able to drive an Arctic with no previous experience in a class 2. The quality of drivers on the road is already abysmal, and it's only going to get worse. And don't even get me started on the reverse and a coupling procedure, they've actually taken out of the test. And I drive as a living. I see people blocking up the road, and they're in traffic and they're blocking the road. You're not going anywhere. So instead of driving forward and blocking up the road, it's like they could actually stand back, because they're not going anywhere anyway, and allow oncoming traffic to come forward. But these people don't even have the consideration, the decency, and the fortitude to be able to do that, and yet they're giving them access to be able to do so much more. This place is just done.
Days and
let me get this first. Jeremiah 49:7. Wherefore glorious thou in the valleys, thy flowing valleys, O backsliding daughter that trusted in her treasures. See, these people trust in Esau, saying, Who shall come unto me? Behold, I will bring fear unto thee, saith the Lord power of hosts, from all those that be about thee, and ye shall be driven out every man right forth, and none shall gather up him that wandereth. And afterward I will bring again the captivity of the children of Ammon, saith the Lord. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dadan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. If great gatherers come to thee, would I not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. So the Lord has taken everything that Esau had before. Now this man has nothing. He don't even have wisdom. He don't even know how to run the society properly. I mean, all the decisions that he's making don't make no sense. They're actually destructive to his own society, and the Lord has really put the spirit on these people to destroy their own society. And people will sit there talking about, because I was talking to somebody about it, and it was like, oh well, people have free will, where it is this that, because these people don't actually understand how the Lord works. Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? He put evil spirits on Saul, but these people seem to think that they can do whatever they want to do, and the Lord has put that reprobate spirit on you, where you feel like you can do whatever. Go and do it. Then you got free will. You got cancer. Do you know what? You got free will in it, so you don't have cancer. You can free will your ass out of having cancer. These people don't understand how fearful the law can be, because they really believe in this little self-righteous, do what thou wilt spirit that's so prevalent in this society. Psalms 14:1. The fool has said in his heart, there is no power. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. See, these people, they don't have a frigging. Cause see, this, and he knows about this, but he doesn't understand what's going on. Because in his own heart, he's a fool. He doesn't understand that the Most High is doing all of this to bring his society to an end. He just thinks these people are making all these decisions for what reason? And even he'll admit that they're doing this on purpose to create chaos. And why would they? Why would you create chaos in your own society to bring about something else that's going to bring about something else, which ultimately the Lord has set up? But these people don't understand that. They feel like they can do whatever they want to do, and if you want to do, and you can do whatever you want to do, then you go and change and you go and stop these people from doing that. But you're not able to. Why? Because you're on a trick bag.
Yeah, people did pass. I would say the roads are different back then. That was nearly 25 years ago. So in 1997, it all changed, and it changed to the requirement to do stage testing. So if you were after 97 looking to get your Class 1 license, you would have to do your Class 2, what we call the Category C, first, gain provisional entitlement, or rather pass the driving test for the C, and then gain C+E provisional entitlement. So, yeah, the problem is that, according to the government, why we've got a shortage out there is because there's not enough driving tests available. That's not true. That's not the case at all. Anyway, so the situation now is that we're referring back to pre-97, in as much as you don't need to do your Category C driving test anymore. If you've got a car license, you can go from car straight to Class 1 without having to do the Category C rigid type vehicle. So yeah, the opportunity is there to do that. We as a company, EP Training, what we used to do, there is quite a lot to driving an articulated or a heavy goods vehicle for the first time, in as much as you hadn't learned to drive a rigid, so you're going to go straight into the Class 1. So driving Surrey, a class in Surrey, which is where we are, driving a Class 1 and Arctic on Surrey's roads is no mean feat, and especially if you're limited to things like reversing procedures and exercises. Because 5 days would be not enough to get you from car to Class 1. You've got to give yourself a suitable time for that. Anyway, so what does that mean? Yeah, you can go straight to Class 1. No driving test required for the Category C. The driving tests themselves are changing as well. So the requirement on the driving test for C+E certainly used to be that you did a reversing procedure, you did a coupling, uncoupling procedure in the driving test centre, normally before you went out and did your driving test proper. That's going to be changing. For the driving test proper, you will no longer be doing the reversing, uncoupling, recoupling procedure. That is going to be farmed out to training companies, and responsible, qualified, verified people within that company will be able to confirm your experience and sign you off to say you're competent for both the coupling, uncoupling and the reversing procedure. However, you still got to go and do a driving test proper. So what that will mean is that we present you our driving test, for example, Guildford. The examiner will consider that the rigid pass rate is only about 55% nationally. So it's going to be quite a mean feat. So that's really the fundamentals, how they're changing for the H. Because everyone want to do their C+E, and there simply won't be enough training vehicles to accommodate the need. So I don't know. I don't think we're going to get turkeys by Christmas. We'll have to wait and see. So for the HGV, yeah, you still got to do, as I said earlier. So again, in 1997, if you pass your car test before that, they gave you what we call B&E, which is a licensed to drive a car and trailer. In 1997, they changed that and they gave you a car license only, category B. And what that meant is, after that day, if you want to tow a trailer more than 750 kilos, you would need to do a B&E driving test. And the government is saying also that a lot of driving tests are being used by people who want to do their car and trailer. So, as of the 20th of September, there will be no requirement to do a driving test for your car and trailer, okay? So if you've got a standard category B license, you'll automatically be given the trailer entitlement from the 20th of September. So they have literally just stopped car and trailer training and testing, no requirement. I think it's disgusting myself, because this consultation on all these changes closed on Monday. Okay, they then made their decision on Wednesday and announced it all, Thursday, Friday, something like that. So you've got people out there, livelihoods, businesses, who just do car and trailer. Now, yesterday morning, Friday, they had a business. They had customers. Come Monday morning, they're out of business.